welcome back to the second part of the production line series. So I found out that actually what I was doing last video, there were quite a few mistakes I haven't really thought about very well, so I'm probably going to change things around a little bit. I'll explain to you what happened and what's going wrong. So the thing is, whoops, let me just get rid of things that weren't here before. What I was doing when I was taking things from the buffer or from the chest is I was having this pointer which points out, the next thing that you'd be taking from the chest. So let's say I take out planks from the chest and put them in the buffer. You'd go your chest pointer ++, you'd be pointing at sticks. Then when you put things back in the chest, you'd go minus again, and you'd be pointing at planks again. Now this works very well when there's only 2 items in the chest, but I'll show you what happens when you've got more than 2 items in the chest. So let's say we pull down the first 3 items from this chest here and put them in the buffer. So let me just do that real quick. Go. Okay. And now we're going to go back again. So first of all, our chest pointer will be over here now. We'll be pointing at D. That's the 4th slot, so it'll be 4. Well, we don't really have a buff pointer, so don't have to worry about that. And now we put things back again. So we take this one, put it back over here. And the first thing that goes wrong actually is even before here is when you have it in your turtle. Because what we were doing before is taking chest pointer -1 and making that our inventory pointer, which in this case would be C or 3. So our inventory pointer would be pointing at C when actually we're holding A in our inventory in the turtle. So that's not good. And obviously you're going to have the same problem over here, because whenever we put something in the chest, we go chest pointer -, which would be C in our case, when actually the next thing we would pull out the chest is A. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the way actually how we're going to do this whole thing quite a lot. First of all, we're getting rid of these pointers because they're unnecessary, I believe. Because when you think about it, what we're going to be doing with these turtles is getting a certain item from our main controller over there, the guy who's ordering items. And we need to check, do we have the item? And if we do, all we have to do is chuck it out. We don't really need to constantly keep a tab on what's in the buffer and what's in the chest too closely. Because what we do is we check in our list here, our chest content, whether we have the item and how many we have of it, so if we have enough. And if that's the case, then all we have to do is go to that item exactly, spit it out, and then put everything back into the chest again. So we don't really have to keep track of all these points and stuff. So I'm going to get rid of these, they're useless, bye bye. The only thing I think we really have to keep track of is items in buffer. So how many items have we dumped in the buffer? And the only place where we have to keep track of that is when we put something in the buffer, when we take something from the buffer. So here, items in buffer ++, we put something in the buffer. And when we take something from the buffer, it's items in buffer -. And this guy's going to start off on 0, of course. So, this makes things a little bit easier. We don't have to keep track of all these different pointers, like this doesn't exist anymore. There we go. Perfect. And we don't really need to know what's in our inventory either, because we know the number of times we have to put something into the buffer until we get to the correct item. And that's all we're going to be doing. So let us write another function here called function have item, and it's going to take some parameter called item name. So this function is going to be used when we get an order from the turtle at the front who says I need 3 sticks. So we're going to get this item name, and we're going to have to check how many, or whether we have the item at all. Now one thing we need to know for that is where the end of our array is. So we either have to have a variable that stores how many items are on the chest, or we have to put something at the end here like end. I think I'm going to go with this because it's easier. So there's 2 items in this chest. I mean, the disadvantage of this is that there's more hard-coded stuff. I don't really like that, but yeah, it'll make it easier, so fuck it. For I is equal to, and we'll start at 1 and then have chest items. So for all the items in the chest, we're going to check the name basically. If item name is equal to, and then we have chest content, and then we want to check I. And don't forget to put then after your if. Return true. And if at the end of the for loop we haven't found the item, return false. Multiple returns in a function like this, I personally don't really like it, and it's not really good practice, but theoretically it is a little bit faster now, because if let's say the very first item you find is the correct one, then you just return true immediately. You don't have to go through all the rest of the items. Another way of doing this would be having a found variable and saying found is equal to true, and then return found at the end. So if it finds it, found will be equal to true, and it will return true at the end. And if it never finds anything, it will be false from the beginning, so it will return false. The disadvantage is that if you find the item on the very first go, you're still going to finish the whole for loop. Let's say there's 100 items in here. Well, that's not possible. Let's say there's 50 items in here. You're going to be checking all 50 items, even though you've found it on the first go, which is a bit of a waste of time. But yeah, be careful using multiple returns in functions, because if you do it too much, it gets very hard to read and figure out what's going on. But this is acceptable, I believe. So I'm going to do that. Oop, don't do that. Right, so now it's only checking the name though, but let's say we need 20 sticks and we only have like 5, so we might want to check if we have the right number as well. So item name and item amount. And all we need to do is say item amount is greater or equal to is smaller than or equal to chest amount I. There we go. Right. So now, if you return false, you don't really know whether it's because you don't have the item to start with, or you just don't have enough. So eventually, I'll split these two up, and if we don't have enough of it, we'll send out a message to the main head bot saying, "Oh, we don't have enough." And if we don't have it, then we won't do anything. And then maybe it would be cool to also have like some kind of epic huge storage behind here, and say if you don't have enough, then it'll start ordering more from the storage at the back. But that's all stuff for later. I won't worry about that now. For now, this will do. So I'm just going to check whether we have the item and whether we have enough of it. Good. So that's that. We now know whether we have it. Now we also need a function to actually get the item, and this is why I believe we don't need the pointers, because we know like where the item is, so you can just go for and just do this whole thing again, and then once you find the item, you can start chucking out the right number. So function retrieve, and we'll have item name, and item amount again. It's going to be exactly the same. I'm going to change this name here to in stock. I think that's a nicer name for that function. So it's going to be exactly the same for I is equal to 1 until chest items do. And that's going to be a little bit different. So this will be the same, although this check has already been done before, because we're always going to check whether we have it in stock before we do a retrieve. So although I guess we might as well check it anyway. Okay, so if we're at I, and the I that we're at is the correct item, and we have enough of it, then we're going to say I'm going to have to think about what order we're going to do this in, actually. So we're going to be starting from the point where there's nothing in your inventory and all the items are still in the chest. So the first thing you're going to do is the first thing you're always going to do is do turtle dot suck. No, we're not actually going to do that. Didn't write these for nothing. So we're going to take from chest, and that's what we're doing. Right, that's the very first thing we have to do. We have to take an item from the chest and then see if that's the correct one. So we're checking here to see if that's the correct one, and we have enough of it. If that's the case, then we can turtle dot turtle dot drop I'm gonna have to check the API here. I want to drop like the correct number of items, but I don't know whether this will actually do that or not, or whether it will drop a certain. Oh yeah, count, yeah, number. Good, perfect. So this will drop the correct number of items. End that there. And then we're going to do put in buffer. So we'll just always do that, just to make sure our inventory is always empty at the end of this method or function. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have to put all our stuff back. So we've retrieved the correct item, we dropped it, and then we're going to have to put everything back again. So we'll write a function I'm just thinking of what to call it, really, like retrieve from buffer, or clear. Oh, that's what we'll do. Clear buffer. There we go. Clear buffer. that up here. So what this function is going to do is just take all the items that are in the buffer and put them back. So we've been using put in buffer during this retrieve method. Now put in buffer keeps count of all the items in the buffer. So the nice thing we can do now is for I is equal to 1 until items in buffer do and take from buffer and put in chest. Boom. And that's it. This is why making good functions is so nice, because you can just go and do something that would be relatively complex otherwise and just do it in like 3 lines. And that will be all. There we go. So now we have functions that will retrieve the correct item and also put everything back in the buffer. Now, this is something that has only got 2 items in it. I'm going to add a couple more just for fun. They're going to have nothing to do with wood. That doesn't matter. So I'll put sticks somewhere here, and I'll put like half a stack of wood there, 2 chests there, 5 signs. That's good enough. I'll have to remember this now. Well, actually I don't have to remember it because I can do it in Notepad over here. So we got plank. I'll call this logs. Chest. Don't know why I'm making capitals out of that the whole time. Then we have sticks, and the end is signs, which we have 5 of. Sign. Like the thing is, keep things consistent. If I'm not using plural anywhere, I don't use plural here all of a sudden. So I'm just make it log. We have 32 logs. We have 2 chests. We have 64 sticks, and we have 5 signs. Okay. And the chests and items is now 5. Oh, number of items in the chest is 5. Perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to first of all just sleep for 3 seconds to give me a chance to see what's going on. Then we're going to try and retrieve stick, and we want, let's say we want 8 of them. There we go. I'm also going to do a little print here just so we can see something. Retrieved item amount, item name. Okay. Now there's something very important I'm forgetting, but it doesn't really matter now. We'll do that in a second. It's not that important, I guess. Well, it is very important, but not for this test. Okay, so I've saved that. Get out of there. What's this called again? Chest manager. I wish there was tab completion. Oops, 23. Oh, I wonder if that exists or not. That's confusing. 29. Oh wait, that'll probably be the other one. Yeah, I thought you could do plus plus and minus minus in this, but I guess you can't. I'm quite surprised. I'm gonna look that up because I thought you could. I was pretty sure. Oh, it would start raining. God damn it. Alright, so it's probably doing so. Oh, look, it's taking stuff. You got the sticks. It's dumped them out, I guess. See how many we get. 8 sticks, that's the number we wanted. And it crashed on 54. Because I made a print that doesn't work properly. That's clever. What did I do? Oh yeah. It's not turtle.print. It's just print. I am a genius. Right, I'll take these. Put them in here. These. Right. Let's try that again. Okay, so we're going to sleep for a couple of seconds. It's going to start pulling stuff out this chest. It's going to have the sticks, dump out 8, and then it should put stuff back in there. Instead it put everything in the buffer. And it crashed on 20. Oh yeah, because this doesn't exist anymore. Nice. Instead this needs to be items in buffer is greater than 0. So when we take from the buffer we need to check that the items in the buffer, you know, that there's at least one item in there. Otherwise it's a waste of time. So here we go again. Bling, 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 bling. Oh, this is like the good old days where everything's going wrong. Okay. Taking items from there. Dumping out the sticks. Putting everything down here. Ooh, putting them back again. There we go. That's what we wanted. Retrieved 8 stick. Yep. Well done. Perfect. So that's working. Apart from some small grammatical errors. That's all good. I'm quite happy with that. I think we're going to end the episode here. So we can now retrieve items and a certain amount as well. That's good. Oh yeah, the one important thing I was forgetting. When we do this and we dump our stuff out, we need to say chest amount I is equal to chest amount I minus item amount. There we go. So the sticks we throw out, we actually have to deduct them from what we have left, so that's all kept nicely. So that we have the right number of items in our array here. Okay, so that's good. Thanks for watching once again, and I will see you next episode when we continue this escapade. So, thanks for watching, and see you then.